Everybody makes mistakes, but when it comes to Charles Leclerc's record at Monaco, it's getting a little ridiculous. Every time he drives a car there, he seems to have an accident. This time, it wasn't even a race weekend. So how did the star Ferrari driver manage to crash a historic Formula One car in Monte Carlo? And why is his team worried about Max Verstappen's comments? Stay tuned to find out. First up, the Monaco curse. Charles Leclerc was born and raised in Monaco, and living so close to the track for so long, you'd think that you would build up experience? Well, apparently not. Leclerc might be lightning fast and precise on every other track on the calendar, but for some reason, success at Monaco always escapes him. Let's have a look at his record throughout the years. It starts off in 2017 when he was still in Formula 2. Leclerc was on track to win the trophy after already winning 2 races that season, but it wasn't to be. His Prima racing car suffered a suspension failure and the car had to be retired. Alright, that was just a bit of bad luck. When Monaco came around the next season, Charles had made it into Formula 1 and was driving for Sauber. Once again, something in the car failed. This time, it was the brakes. Leclerc was edging closely to Toro Rosso driver Brendan Hartley and trying to find space for an overtake on the notoriously thin Monaco circuit. But when he tried to brake before the swimming pool chicane, nothing happened. He was just a passenger as he flew into the back of the Toro Rosso and ended both of their races. The culprit was identified as a front left brake disc failure, another mechanical problem. The following year at the 2019 Monaco Grand Prix, Leclerc was trying for Ferrari and had his best shot at winning his home race. But he was knocked out of Q1 after a strategic blunder, and then as he fought his way through the field, he hit the wall at turn 17. Once again, he had to retire the car. In 2020, Monaco wasn't on the calendar due to coronavirus, and at this point Leclerc was probably relieved. But the brake didn't seem to help. Last year, Leclerc had posted the fastest time during qualifying when he crashed in Q3. He kept pole position, but an issue with the car's gearbox meant that he couldn't start the race the next day. Can Leclerc ever finish a Monaco Grand Prix? Maybe he is cursed. Next we have history. Leclerc's Monaco luck has been unbelievable, but he thought that it would be limited to the races. When he agreed to take Niki Lauda's 1974 Ferrari out for an exhibition drive at a 2022 Monaco Historic event, he probably thought that he could finally drive around the track without worrying. He was in the middle of demonstrating how quick the almost 50-year-old car is when it all went horribly wrong. He rounded the final corner when he spun into the wall and snapped the rear wing. Can you believe it? It was Leclerc's 4th crash at his home circuit, and this time it wasn't even during a race weekend. The problem was later identified as a brake failure. After the drive, Charles said, "I lost the brakes. I braked, the pedal was hard, and it went to the floor." For motor enthusiasts, it was hard to watch the vintage car take a hit on the wall. But from Charles's perspective, he said that he was actually a little lucky. After getting out of the car, he said that if the failure happened at any other place, then it would have been more of a disaster. Luckily, the last turn on the track is a relatively slow one, so there wasn't too much damage. The biggest hit was taken by Leclerc's ego when he had to limp back to the pits and face the rest of the paddock. He was comforted by former Ferrari driver Jackie Ickx, who was just glad to see that Charles was okay. In his day, it was normal for 1 or 2 drivers to die each season. Can you imagine knowing that one of the drivers this season wouldn't make it? Thank God for driver safety. What did Max Verstappen say that has the Ferrari bosses worried? And why isn't Bonotto impressed with Mercedes' performance at the Spanish Grand Prix? Don't go anywhere because that's coming up next. The Spanish Grand Prix. Normally, Charles is pretty excited about any upcoming race, but for Monaco, his excitement was definitely contained. When asked about his feelings for the upcoming Monaco Grand Prix, he said that he was just hoping to see the checkered flag. That was after a heartbreaking loss at the Spanish Grand Prix the week earlier. He had been comfortably leading the entire race and was set to extend his lead in the championship when he suffered an engine problem. It was 27 laps into the race, and the message back to the team was that he was losing power. Leclerc rolled the Ferrari back to the pits, but there was nothing that could be done to get him back in the race. The retirement has Ferrari fans worried that reliability problems could be their downfall this year. After a strong start in Bahrain, Ferrari have looked consistently dominant. Leclerc won 2 of their first 3 races, while Max Verstappen retired them both. But now, Verstappen is on a 3-race win streak, and the defending world champion is proving why he has the title. Every single race that he's finished, he has won this season. So is it all falling apart? Now that Ferrari have totally blown their lead over Red Bull, it's time to ask whether they are capable of getting it back. After storming out of preseason testing as the team to beat in Bahrain, it looked like Ferrari had unlocked speed that no other team could find. But now that Red Bull's development is neck and neck with Ferrari, it's a different story. Ferrari have not been in a development battle for a long time. Last year, they only had 3 podiums over the entire season, and the season before that, they scored a third of the points. Ferrari have been watching from the sidelines for so long that they might have forgotten how it is up front. Red Bull have been going toe-to-toe with Mercedes for years, and it looks like they are as sharp as ever. But Ferrari has raised concerns about just how Red Bull is able to keep up. This year saw the introduction of a $140 million budget cap for teams to abide by. Early on, some constructors were already telling the FIA how difficult it was to keep in the green because of inflation and rising costs. That's why Ferrari boss Mattia Binotto said that at some point Red Bull must stop development. They have bought many more upgrades than Ferrari have, and Binotto thinks that means that they are running out of cash to spend. He said that if they don't stop developing, then he will not understand how they can do that. In other words, if they don't slow down, something fishy is going on. But Max Verstappen has hinted that Red Bull have no intention of slowing down. When questioned about the development war, he said that there's plenty left in the tank. Now let's talk about engine problems. What happened at the Spanish Grand Prix? How did Charles Leclerc let the win slip through his fingers? Mattia Binotto is clear that Ferrari cannot afford any more retirements this season if they want to try and keep up with Red Bull. He said that the issue with Leclerc's engine was sudden and unexpected, and when Binotto didn't see it coming, that's a problem. He's not just the team principal of Ferrari, but he was also the chief technical officer of the team, and before that was the head of the engine department, so he knows what he's talking about. Binotto said that they would be taking the engine back to their headquarters in Maranello to take it apart and have a look at it. At times like these, it might be helpful to look over to the Mercedes garage for inspiration. During their 8 Constructors' Championships in as many years, Mercedes became the kings of not just performance, but also reliability. And so far this season, they are proving it again. While Ferrari and Red Bull have both had engine-related retirements, Mercedes have finished every race with both cars crossing the line. In fact, Mercedes seems to be on track to join the championship leaders at some point if they continue to improve. In Spain, they managed P3 and P5, but Binotto is still not impressed. He said that they were still 7/10 off pole position during qualifying, and finishing 30 seconds behind the Red Bull of Max Verstappen showed that their race pace was no better. Let them have this small victory, Binotto. Do you think that Ferrari will get on top of their issues to win the season? And are Mercedes starting to make a comeback? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.